Let's look at 10th Lord and different houses. So the 10th Lord or the 10th house is rather called as the Rajya. Rajya means that deals with the kingdom of a king, right? So please look at the 10th house, its Lord, and the dispositor of the 10th Lord. Okay, so in today's world, we are using mostly the 10th house for the job. However, 10th house indicates the whole karma of the person. So any karma that you do is registered in the 10th house. That's why the Westerners use directly the 10th house as the lagna. So we use the lagna as the lagna, whereas the most of the predictions of the Western astrology are based on the 10th house. So it's a very important house after the first house. Parashara felt that if there is no planet in the 10th house, then the horoscope itself is not worth looking at. However, there are so many, you know, Parashara says one line and there can be so many meanings inside it. Let's look at what the 10th house represents first. Then we will move into the 10th Lord being placed in different signs. Okay. As I keep saying, please first use the results of the nakshatras and then use the results of the planets like sun in the first house, moon in the fourth house, those things, and then use this thing. This will be especially useful in understanding the dasha. Okay, so straight away, if you try to apply it over the natal chart, sometimes or many a times the results may not come. However, there will be some effect of these placements in the D1 chart, and as we progress in the dashas at a little later time, you will know how the results are actually coming. All right. So let's see 10th Lord in different houses. Before that, the significations of the 10th house. First is karma. Second is the 10th house is extreme hard work, right? Because 10th house is lauded by Saturn. Saturn represents hard work, right? And nothing comes very easily in the 10th house. 10th house is the thing that is at the peak of your head when you were born. I mean, the Rashi that is on the zenith is the 10th house when you are born. Okay. So this is the 10th house. And then you have the job, you have your father, your father's wealth, your father's family, as in your father's, all of them, all the kids that your father has, or your father's father and the family as a whole. I mean, in the Indian context, if your father's father has four children, all of that family, that whole tree belongs to you, right? That's the extended family kind of a thing that is seen in the fourth house. Even that is also seen from the 10th house. Okay, so your father's cousins, their children, so they all become your cousins, etc. Right? So it's that bigger tree. So 10th house is this thing that evolves slowly. There are lots of challenges of life that is carried in the 10th house. So 10th house poses you challenges. The more and more you work towards them, you are successful. If you run away from those challenges, you are bound to have failures in life. So 10th house gives you an opportunity to have faith, to have challenges in life, which sometimes is a very good thing. And then it's a cold house, it's a practical house. See, Saturn and Mercury are neuters, meaning they are based on the hard work. They don't believe or they don't leave everything to God. They believe that human action is necessary to get rid of problems. God can only be a spectator, or God can give you the strength to do something, but God cannot come and do things. To do things, you have to do it yourself. That is what the Mercury and the Saturn are preaching to us. This third, sixth, 10th, and 11th houses are all about that. Okay. And 10th house is all the uphill. The more you climb upwards, the more it becomes the 10th house, right? And also 10th house deals with machinery, 10th house deals with industries, 10th house deals with job, everything that you can do at the office, right? 10th house is also the ego. 10th house is also the prestige. See, there is a very thin line between the self-respect and the ego, and most of the times they are used interchangeably because there is no exact word for ego in Sanskrit. It's either called as mani or swabhimani. Okay, so both would mean self-respect but not the ego, right? Prestige is also a similar word. So 10th house, 10th house will make you shameful, or 10th house will keep saying, look, you're not cheap guy, you have to behave yourself. That is when your 10th house is good. Okay. If your 10th house is bad, the person can behave cheaply in front of people or do cheap things. Same is the case with the fourth house. The 4 and the 10th axis will tell you how down you can go, or how low you can stoop to do cheap things in your life, or how much above you can rise so that you don't do any cheap things in life. Will this be a good thing or bad thing will depend on the situation. For a scenario, let's suppose you don't have money in your hand and you have been living very well all the while, and suddenly you feel like, look, I don't have enough money, I don't have a job in hand, I got a very small menial job to do, right? In such a case, if your 10th house is very good, then you would say that, look, I cannot work as a small worker in a factory because I have been living all good all these days. And you will leave that opportunity that can provide you some money for your living, and then you will struggle more. Okay. So don't think something is very good would mean it can work very well. Okay. Hope you got what I tried to say. So sometimes if you have to leave shame and try to do a small work just to make a living, then you have to do, right? That's how it is. That all talks about the 10th house. Now let's see what the 10th lord does when it is being placed in different houses. Also, please use the dispositor of the 10th lord for more insights in the D1. Okay. So Parashara, these are Parashari slokas. I have just copied them. However, I have also got some interpretation for myself at the bottom of each of the house. Okay. I'll also teach those things. Let's see what Parashara wants to say here. The Maharshi Parashara says, when the 10th Lord is in the first house, you can see that Karmeshe Lagnage Jato Vidwan Khyato Dhani Kavihi Balye Rogi Sukhi Paschat Dhana Vruddhir Dine Dine. Right? So the man gets money slowly, one after the other. Okay. See, 10th house is a slow house, and also the first house is a slow house. It gives you results at a very later age, right? So the wealth will slowly keep increasing in the man's life, right? Balye Rogi, someone who's had some issues of health during the childhood, and as the age progressed, the person recovered from ill health, or could be sensitive health, and he has improved his health conditions as the time progressed. And then the person is having money, and the person is a poetic person, wherein he could be a writer, he could be writing content. In today's context, if you see, the person can be a content writer. See, when the 10th lord moves into the konas of the 159, it is usually called as a very good placement. But see, always look at the whole chart, whole conjunctions. it can so happen that 10th lord is in the first house, but if it is with malefics or some yoga bhangas are happening, he may also, suffer poverty, etc. But 10th lord in the first house usually brings in a lot of hard work. And if the hard work part is missing in the life, then it can lead into other issues. Okay. However, look at the whole chart. Right. So Khyati is, the name and the fame. 10th house also represents the name and the fame. The first house also will represent the name and the fame. So the 10th guy getting into the first house will show the same name and fame thing. Okay, he's Vidwan. Vidwan means someone who is knowledgeable, who has studied enough, etc. This is what Parashara meant. It's a good placement overall. However, look for what conjunctions is it making. Is it along with any other planet? What is that saying? Look at the nakshatra results, etc., and then try to decipher what is happening. Also, look at the D10 chart for the job. Just not depend the results on the D1 chart. D10 chart is absolutely important. Without the D10 chart, you cannot time anything. Okay. If it's a woman's chart and if the 10th lord is in the first house, it is not very conducive for the progeny of the woman. However, D7 is important. I have also made some videos on childlessness, and also I've made some videos on how your children would be in case of the D7. Okay, please look at those things as well. Without looking at the nakshatras or the D7, please don't conclude it. However, in generic sense, 10th lord in the first house is not very good for children in a woman's chart. Okay. Office or work brings in name and fame. He could be a self-employed person. Teaching and training could be his passion. He would be doing those things at the office, or he would be a teacher himself. Constantly, job is changing or job is constantly evolving. He's going one step ahead at a time, and his job is constantly evolving. And he's trying to help those people who are handicapped, right? Because see, the 10th lord is Saturn sitting in the first house. All these results can be looked at. And also the 10th lord carries the significations of Sun, Mercury, and Saturn. So try to see what happens when 10th lord as Sun he comes and sits in the first house. 10th lord as Mercury comes and sits in the first house. Use these significations. Similarly is with the Saturn. Try to use these significations and try to amplify the results. This is what you will get. Okay. Industry, machinery is what he could be focused on. And then focused on name and fame. He would not be working for money. He's focused more on name and fame. He would find solace in meeting siblings because 10th house, as I said, would be siblings, father's family, and they are, coming on to the first house. So it could be like, he's very happy meeting his siblings, or he could be having problems meeting his siblings. Both could be possible. Okay. Cousins and then paternal money. These are those significations that you can look at from the 10th lord in the first house. Okay. Moving on to the second house, 10th lord in the second house, Parashara says, Rajyeshe dhanabhavaste dhanavan guna samyutah rajamanyo vadanyascha pitradi sukha samyutah. Right? See, the word is vadanyascha here. In case of ninth lord in the second house, I'm talking about the previous class where the ninth lord was in the second house. It made the man more stingier, or he tried to save a lot of money. In case of 10th lord in the second house, the person tries to give away a lot of money, or he is very good at donating money. Okay, so whether this is good or that is good will depend on the situation the person is living in. Please do not generalize things. Okay, it may change with situations. So it depends on, let's suppose you don't have enough money, and if you're trying to donate too much in life, you are going further into problems, right? So you have to try and see what the situation the person is in, right? And then try to understand where the problem is. Pitradi Sukha Samyutah. See, when the 10th Lord is in the second house, try to count the houses from the 10th to the second. it is 5 houses ahead, right? And then from the second house, it is 9 houses back to the 10th house. So it's in a 5-9 relationship. So the father is happy, and also the house is the second house. So generally, the native gets the kind of job the father is doing, and somehow the father is happy about it. The only thing I would emphasize here is the vadanyascha, which means the person is donating money. Okay, so just try to see what conditions is he having, right? If a big guy is donating money who has enough money, that's always welcome. But if the person doesn't have money, if he is trying to donate money, then he has some or the other problems that may surface later on, right? So I'm not saying I'm against donation, etc. Please don't conclude things like that. Okay, I'm talking about specific cases. Okay, so certain times you may have to advise the person you're giving away too much, right? So it depends on that, I'm saying. Yeah. Dhanavan guna samyutaha, someone who is having money and someone who has a very good character. Okay, this is what the 10th lord in the second house as per Parashara. Let's see what the common sense says, or what the general significations of the second house and the 10th house combination will say. 10th house is the job, second house is the family. So anything that has connection to the family, a family run business, usually second house shows hotels, food, finance, bank jobs. The talking or the speaking is in the second house. So something connected to speaking, dental surgeons, dental doctors, gifts and confectionaries, someone who is a manager, someone who's using his voice to make money, someone who is, because it's the second house is the fifth house from the 10th house, and ninth house from the second house to the 10th house. It's the children and the father that influence the karma of the native, or karmic connections exist between the father and the children that you have. Okay. Or you have a very powerful father. There is a very good higher learning of children. Someone who is trying to micromanage things. See, when the 10th Lord gets either into the second house or into the sixth house or into the 10th house, the person is trying to micromanage things. Okay. So he is looking at, okay, where is this going? Where is that going, etc. Is it a good thing or bad thing will totally depend on that person. Okay. Or the kind of work he is in. Okay. Or it's actually both. If you're trying to micromanage things, it takes a lot of time for you to digest everything, do everything. It's a very tedious process. Let's suppose, I mean, I might be wrong, but I heard somewhere that the big giant companies, the Microsoft or the Facebook, all these, the owners of the companies are big micromanagers. I don't know how far is it true. Is it true? But if it happens so, just try to be in his shoes and try to understand if they are micromanaging the kind of work they have to do, right? So, but micromanagement can assure them that nothing is going wrong, but they will be very exhausted, right? So there is a lot of work that they have to do. Or there are certain jobs, like let us suppose you're running a hotel or a food business. What is very important there? You have to be present if you're a chef, or if you're the guy who is a cook, and you have to cook every day, and you have to ensure that the taste is the same, that you are consistently delivering. So the consistency thing comes in the konas of the 10th house. So 10th house lord in the second, sixth, and the 10th back again will keep the person on the toes, that he has to run every time for every small petty thing, because it's very important for him, otherwise he will lose the business. So usually such kind of people, when the 10th lord is in the second, 10th or the sixth is house, we advise them not to be in business. Otherwise, what happens is, even if they start a business, they are working like employees in the company, right? However, always please look at the D10 chart. Only from there you are going to get the results. The D10 will tell you the kind of job you are in. The dasha will tell you the kind of situations you are in and when the promotion or the elevation in the life is coming. Without looking at any of these things and merely relying on the D1 chart will not help you. Okay. So now let's move on to the third house. 10th Lord in the third house. 10th Lord in the third house. Karmeshe sahaje jato भ्रातृभृत्य सुखान्वितः विक्रमी गुणसंपन्नः वाग्मी सत्यरतो नरः. Right? Someone who has the 10th lord in the third house, vagmi means someone who is very talkative or communicative, someone who can express himself very easily, articulate things very correctly, and be on the side as if he has a very good marketing skill, right? Because third house deals with the communication. Satya Rato Naraha. See, Parashara Maharshi is extremely intelligent person. Okay, he will not give you the whole thing about a placement. You have to figure out, and all of these slokas, wherever they are positively written, like wherever if he says Satya Rato, that means someone who keeps talking only the truth. Okay, you have to understand that this can also make the person talk lies as well. Okay, and don't try to judge people. Oh, this man is talking lies, it means that he's a bad man. No, it doesn't work like that in today's world. Okay, marketing people, communication departments, when you're doing, or sales you have as a department, try to understand the kind of intensive trainings. Whenever, I mean, if you have been ever into sales, you or the marketing, you receive intensive trainings about the product, etc., and they try to hide a lot of facts and talk about those benefits that the customer will have when they try to use the product, and nobody talks much about what can be the negative things about a product being sold in a company. So sometimes it's called as the, you're talking lies. It's not the truth, but it is essential for you to earn the livelihood, right? So this person can be a very good marketing person, right? Provided he has afflictions there in the third house. 10th Lord in the third house with a Saturn or a Mars will make you a great person who can do a lot of marketing for your company, which is necessary and which is not wrong in today's days. I'm not trying selling you lies. It's all facts, but I'm only hiding some facts and I'm only revealing a few of them. Right? You take any product, every product has positives and negatives. Absolutely. Without that, it is impossible to have only positives. Nothing happens in this world like that. Everything will have it. Otherwise, you have to honestly agree that this is not a product at all, right? So Vikrami Guna Sampannaha, someone who is very courageous. So you can also assume that if you have the other way around, like you have very softer planets without afflictions, the person will not have the courage to do the next step of the life or try to do what has to be done in life, right? Guna Sampannaha, someone who has all the good qualities. The negativity also can be there depending on the planets. You have to understand what can bring in good and what can bring in bad, and what really is bad and what really is bad or good in that scenario, right? As I said, affliction can also improve your tactics of handling situations. So not every time affliction is a bad thing. Similarly, not every time good placement is a good thing. Okay. I think I have told you multiple times about these things. I'm not emphasizing any more that I have done much in the previous classes, but I still keep coming back and forth. Bhratru Bhrutya Sukhanvitaha. Bhratru means someone who is your brother, right? Bhratru is your brothers, siblings. Bhrutya means the servants. So you have the advantage of the comforts from your brothers and also from your servants. Both will help you around. You can see 10th house, count from the 10th house to the third house. It's the sixth house, right? So sixth house can talk about servants, right? And also the third house as such is the siblings. So the person has the sukha or the comforts of both the people. That's what Parashar Maharshi is trying to say. And in general common sense, the 10th house is the job, and if we can try to understand overall scenario of how the job is. That is third, 10th lord in the third house. Also, please use dispositors everywhere and try to see what the dispositor also has got to say. Mix these two things up, you will get a better idea of what the job is all about. Okay, 10th lord in the third house. It is hobbies. Someone who has been playing, let us suppose, cricket or volleyball or whatever, rugby in the evenings after the school ended, and he made a career out of it, right? So it's not a full-time thing that he has been doing right at the start, but it evolved into a job or a thing that can make money for him, right? So anything that has been started vocationally, part-time, as a skill set, sports, writing, content creation, traveling, contractual works. Why contractual works is because if you try to count the number of houses from the third house to the 10th house, it's 8 houses. 8 houses can be a contractual work. Okay. Even the third house itself is about the contracts. So it can mean that a person who is working on a very small job, earning a very meager salary on a contractual job, or he could be a very big contractor working for a government of a country wherein millions of rupees or dollars, he is doing a work and trying to earn commission out of it. Okay. So do not think one placement will give you money, the other will not give. It can only give you the source of the thing, but it cannot give you the number. How much are you earning will depend on many more things like the Navamsha, the Dasha, etc. Okay. But it cannot just give you, oh, if it is 10th Lord in the ninth house, it's a very good placement. He can make, 100 million rupees. It's not like that. And the 10th lord in the 8th house is a bad combination, so he makes only 10 rupees. No, it can never happen. Please don't be judging horoscopes like this. You will fail. Okay. Or he could be a very big research guy, or anything that he is doing. It's not a very regular work. It could be a seasonal work. It could be a non-continuous work, right? Such things are possible here. See, there's a contractor who, let us suppose, who's laying a road for a country, right? Every country needs roads. Like, let's suppose you have India. There are so many road contractors. They do the road laying, and each project depends on the kind of contractor he is, depending on which it's a district road or a village road or a national highway, etc. You get different contracts and the value could be very different, but the combination can still be the same. Okay, so that's how you have to look at it. And then the karma is connected to the siblings, right? 10th lord in the third house. So 10th lord in the fourth house, कर्मेशे सुखभावस्ते सुखी मातृहिते रतः यान भूमि गृहाधीशो गुणवान धनवान अपि. So the person has money, the person has good character. As I keep saying, you have to apply this on the negative side as well. Okay, depending on the afflictions and what all can happen. It can be due to the lordship of the planet, or it can be due to the nature of the planet, the natural nature of the planet also. Both can work. Okay. However, the right information will come as you look at the D10 chart. Yana Bhumi Gruhadhisho. Yana means a vehicle. Okay. Bhumi means, as you know, it's the land that you own. Gruha means the home. So all these are possible for this person. He will have vehicles with him. It could be as small as a bike, or it could be as medium as a car, or it could be as big as a plane. Anything is a yana. Bhumi is a land, so the extent of land will depend on so many things. Griha could be a home, right? Matruhite ratah, someone who is has the comforts of the mother, and Sukhi, someone who is having enough comforts of life. See, when the 10th lord gets into the fourth house, it can make the person work from the home, or the person is not able to come out of comfort zone, and that's why he's not able to find the job. Even that is possible. Okay, so Sukhi could mean a bad thing as well, because the person cannot leave the Sukha offered by the home. He's not able to go out, and he's not able to find a job. Okay, if the person is struggling with the 10th lord in the fourth house, It means that he has to come out of the comfort zone, look at the situation, and then try to give a solution for the person. Not merely just read this loka, "Oh, this is a very good placement, this cannot have a problem." No, this can have a problem. Okay, any placement can be positive or negative depending on the situation. Okay. However, 10th Lord in the fourth house, what is the thing that they might like? They are very good at healing others, okay, or helping others in the community, okay, or could be an office or anything. They want to do it to make others happy, okay. They want to see others happy. So if that is the kind of the job, then they are more happier. It's like the HR thing, right? What does the HR do? The HR is the fourth house of the D10. So the HR does interviews, keeps the people happy, or the employees happy on the behalf of the employer. The HR talks to you and keeps telling you, encourages you, etc. whenever you have a problem, right? That's all is about the fourth house. Then you have the fourth house is the vehicles. See, fourth house is also lauded by moon, so there can be instability in job. Sometimes the person is very interested to do job, and sometimes he's not very interested because he is connected emotionally to the job, because moon and Mercury are emotional people, right? So these planets promote emotional nature of the job. So if the person gets an interest in the job that he is doing, he would put his heart, soul, and everything into the job and try to do as much as possible. Whereas if he doesn't like something to do, then he would do not do it no matter what happens. You cannot make him do the work, right? Fourth house is a very tricky house. Fourth house connects everything to the emotion. If he likes it, he does it. If he doesn't like it, he wouldn't do it. Okay, that's what is all about the fourth house. And then the job is a little uncomfortable because it's moon prefers running and moon prefers faster running. So if it's an uncomfortable job, it could be emotional job, etc. Because not every time you get the work of your liking, right? You would get a job, but you may have to do 100 tasks in it, wherein 50, 60 tasks you would like and 40 you may not like. This is very, very often there with anybody. But a lot of people will get away with it because they think that, look, I'm just doing my job. Why should I be emotionally connected to it? Right? That is more Saturnine in nature. That's why the 10th house, the Krishna says, the 10th house is like the karma. So you should have Saturnine nature there. That's why it is ruled by Saturn. What does Saturn say? Do not be connected to it. You are there as a nimitta matra. Please just do it. Do not expect the result. The result will come someday. That is what Saturn is all about, isn't it? Moon is exactly opposite of it. Moon says, look, I have done my job. I need to get my money. I need to feel satisfied or appreciated by the people, so that, look, you are a good man. Some people the moon's expectation is people have to come up to me and keep patting on my shoulders and saying, look, hey, moon, you've done the good job. Okay. This is what the moon expects. But the Saturn is exactly opposite. He doesn't expect the appreciation, right? All right. Performances in front of the audience. Okay. And you could be anybody who can deliver a performance in front of an audience. You could be an actor, you could be a singer, you could be someone who is playing a sport, etc. Anything of that kind. Worried constantly, because Moon is the guy who keeps worrying constantly. He doesn't believe that everything is going right because he's growing and he is reducing in size, waxing and waning, right? He's not constant. And Moon is the cause of the most of the worries. And most of the times they keep thinking that what the other people are thinking about me. Okay. So let me please the other fellow. Okay. The job of these people are pleasing other people. Okay. Is this a good job or a bad job will depend on the kind of job that they are doing and the kind of situation they are in. It can keep changing in the dashas as well. Okay. So constantly traveling. Spouse is connected to karma. Why? Because the 10th house to the fourth house is seven houses. From the fourth house back to the 10th house again is also seven houses. Okay, so spouse is connected to karma. So would be your siblings, because fourth house will talk about your siblings, your extended family, etc., your mother all that. I cannot write every signification here. You have to make out all these can be possible. Okay. And siblings and spouse could be connected. Okay, these are, see, 10th house carries karma. So anything that the 10th lord or the 10th thing is representing, it is talking about the karmic connections. Okay, it could mean karmic connections does not necessarily mean a bad connection. Karmic connection is because of the intertwined karma, you both are connected. Okay, so if your karma is good, the person whomever you come in contact with is going to give you a good connection. If your karma in the past has been bad, he is going to deliver a bad result. He is only a nimitta matra. Don't think the person who met me tried to betray me, etc. This is a very rudimentary thinking. After you get to know how the karma siddhanta works, what you will understand is, oh, this is all crap. What I have been thinking is, oh, he has cheated me, or I have cheated him. I'm not promoting cheating, but the karma is the whole thing that is taking a shape of a person and trying to affect you. This is what the Krishna has been saying all through, right? I'm not a great avid reader of Bhagavad Gita or etc. But because it's the 10th house and whatever I know, I'm trying to connect that here. Okay. There can be a lot of more people who understand Gita much better, and the application of Gita is absolutely necessary. No matter how many slokas you know or how many know them by heart, but if you don't apply them, it's very difficult to apply, because if somebody comes up to you and cheats you, it's too difficult to get rid of that, right? You carry that baggage all through, right? All right. So 10th Lord in the fifth house. 10th Lord in the fifth house, Karmeshe Sukhabhavaste Sarva Vidya Samanvitaha Sarvada Harsha Samyukto Dhanavan Putravan Api. Someone who has children, okay, someone who has money. Harsha Samyukto, this is an important word here. Harsha Samyukto means someone who is always cheerful and joyful, and who likes to be joyful, cheerful, playful while at work. It means that he's enjoying the work. Okay. And then Sarva Vidya Samanvitaha. Now, depending on the combinations that the fifth house is making, along with the 10th Lord, if there are more planets, this thing can turn into a negative shloka as well, depending on the conjunctions. Try to evaluate it properly. More importantly than that, look at the D10 chart for more insights about the job, right? Now, 10th Lord in the fifth house is not a very good placement for progeny in case of women. Okay. However, D7 chart, the nakshatras all have to be checked. Okay. So that there can be a delay in progeny, there can be PCOS, PCOD, this kind of stuff, etc. In general, 10th Lord in the fifth house is an excellent placement, because 10th Lord is a Kendra Lord, fifth house is a Kona house. So, and a quadrant Lord is placed in a trine, right? This is a very good placement, right? Now, let's see what the fifth house has to offer. These are the fifth house significations. There will be more. I know whatever. I wrote only whatever I remember right now. So 10th house is hard work. Fifth house is power. Someone who is exercising a big hard work to raise to power, right? So there is no way you can raise to power or to do something when your 10th house is acting or 10th lord is acting. The only thing that you need to do is do a lot of hard work. Okay. There is something that you have learned in the past life, and in this life, you're trying to implement it, right? So that's also the 10th Lord in the fifth house. And just keep this in mind. I'm not sure wherever it applies, so you have to apply it for yourself. I just remember it right now because fifth house is the mantra, right? Fifth house is the house of mantra. So the person has the karma connections of the mantra. 10th Lord to 5th house, try to count the number of houses. You get 8 houses, right? 8 houses. 5th and the 8th combination will make you someone who is an avid believer that mantras work. Okay? Mantras work. And then, he is trying to focus on mantras. You can also see that he has a success mantra. These are the lines, right? The person follows a success mantra, and that mantra is never waste a minute, keep working. This is a mantra, right? So it could be something like this as well. So is a self-made man. Okay. He could be having Purva Punya, or he could be having some knowledge of the job automatically even before he has joined the job, because it is coming from the past life thing. Okay. And stocks and speculation, and studying or teaching research, because it's the fifth and the eighth house. As I said, count eight houses from the 10th house, you get the fifth house. Working for orphaned children, right? Because from the fifth house count to the 10th house, you get six houses, and the fifth house is children, eighth house and the sixth house is working, eighth house is orphans. So orphaned children, and you're working for them, right? See, there can be hundreds of combinations that you can establish with these things, but try to look at D10. From there, the judgment is more easier. Someone who is trying to study occult, or he could be a teacher. 10th Lord in 159 will make you a very good teacher. Okay. The disposition coming into the 159 also will make you a very good teacher or a consultant. Okay. Who is independently working. He doesn't like people to, challenge him, or try to tell him what has to be done. Because a teacher, what does he do? He doesn't ask the students what has to be taught. He comes up to the class and says, look, this is what you need to learn today. That's how these jobs are. And teacher always gets respect from all his fellow beings, because they're all children, right? They're all younger to him, or they are in a position where they don't know the stuff and they're trying to learn it from someone. So there is always some respect that is always given to him. If you're working in an office, the scenario is different. Everybody is an equal, right? Okay. So if it's not teaching, then it would be a profession where a lot of independence is expected by the person, when you have the fifth house or the first house or the ninth house thing with the 10th house. Okay. All right. Now, 10th Lord in the sixth house. Uh, See, nothing is good or bad, as I keep saying. You have to look at the situation and then see what is apt for it. All right. कर्मेशे रिपुभावस्ते पितृसौख्य विवर्जितः चतुरोपि धनैर्हीनः शत्रुभिः परपीडितः. Okay, शत्रुभिः परिपीडितः, sorry, परिपीडितः. Someone who is affected by the enemies. In today's world, we don't have much of enemies. Okay. If somebody has, please get rid of them. The biggest enemies are the six Shadripus, the Kama, Krodha, Moha, Lobha, Madha, Matsara. These are the biggest enemies of the person, right? So if we can get rid of them, saying is very easy. It took me less than 5 seconds, but getting rid of them will take like a complete lifetime, right? This is the biggest enemy thing, or it could be a competition. Okay, your Shatrubhihi could be your competition. Like, you could be one of the contenders for the promotion, and there are five people, contending for it, and there is only one chair to sit, right? So the person is in such a situation, or he is into a business where the competition is so huge. There are so many established players in the market, and the person is struggling on it because there is a lot of competition. Okay. So this is what you can understand from there. And then Dhanair Hinaha, someone who doesn't have enough money, right? 10th Lord in the sixth house, 10th Lord in the 12th house, lack of resources. Okay. Not many resources are available. Then Chaturopi. Chatura means someone who is very clever, but Dhanair Hinaha. He's absolutely clever, but he doesn't have enough money to execute his plans, right? So because you need your clever thing or the wisdom, but you also need money side by side to do something. Sometimes, most times. Pitru Saukhya Vivarjitah. Either the father is very unhappy about this person, or he doesn't have good relationship with the father, or he is not having a father. His father left the world long back, and this man is independent. Okay, all of these are possible, or sometimes even none of these are possible because it depends on many more things, right? Um, let's see what will come up with the 10th Lord in the 6th house in generic situations. Give me 1 second. Okay. 10th Lord and 6th house. See, 6th house is about hardships. 6th house is where the Mercury is exalting, and Mercury likes challenges, right? Mercury likes challenges, and Mercury wants to address those challenges because Mercury feels that if I have a challenge, I'll make it like an opportunity and try to make use of it. Okay. So there is extreme hard working in the job, and 6th house is not a very conducive house for anything. It keeps you on your toes. But if you ask me, 10th Lord in the 4th house is good or 10th Lord in the 6th house is good, I would say 10th Lord in the 6th house is good because it gives you more opportunities. The more challenging the planets are placed in, the more is the chance of you actually rising up in the life because you'll get that challenges. 10th Lord in the 4th house, you may not even need to work. You have enough money at home already. So you don't have enough challenges with you. Or if you have to work with a small challenge, you are actually very worried because how do you handle it? Right? Even that can be possible. However, a detailed look has to be taken from the D10, not from here. Okay, because sometimes or many a times 50% they work and 50% they may not work. And usually people are suggested not to choose business because the sixth house is a service. Sixth house is the place where the person salutes the employer, right? Because see, Mercury is a child, and child always looks up to his father, right? So child always respects his father. Whereas Venus rules the business in the seventh house, I think I've explained this in the D10. So sixth house rules the job, but the Mercury rules the business. So it's a little contradicting because the Lord and this house are not doing the same thing. They are two different things. They are explaining two different things. 10th Lord in the sixth house, the conditions are not very conducive for business. Not enough resources are there for him. He's very extremely clever, right? So if there is a business that needs very small resources, he will be doing it. If that needs a very big investment, he will not be interested to do it because he knows that he doesn't have enough resources, right? Or he is doing something that needs a very detailed analysis of each of the step. Like, I have my 10th Lord in the sixth house. I am still in a business, but uh, I am responsible for the recipe of the product. So I make a recipe and the product is designed by me, and 90% of the physical job I do at the office. Okay, so my job is very tedious. So I cannot skip the product making or while the product is being done. It's so sensitive a product. So such kind of a things are in the sixth house, and that's why people are generally discouraged from doing a business. The very detailed oriented jobs, right? You could be like a chef, okay, where you are specific to a taste, you are known due to a taste of the thing, and if you don't go there, then the taste is spoiled on that day, right? Such kind of jobs are there, the sixth house, and generally it's a very tedious job. So you cannot escape the job. That is how the sixth house treats you. And teaching children, this can be one thing because Mercury, sixth house, is also teaching children very heartfully or very deep concepts or micromanaging things. Everything that this man wants to manage, and that's why there is a lot of time thing, okay, involved. And then you can see sixth, 10th Lord in the seventh house. Okay. 10th Lord in the seventh house, Rajyeshe Dara Bhavaste Jato Dara Sukhanvitah Manasvi Gunavan Vagmi Satya Dharma Ratah Sada. Sada means always. Satya Dharma Ratah, someone who is always interested in the truth and the dharma. See, these can be negative as well, okay, depending on the combinations that you are getting. You have to see what the seventh lord is in conjunction with. Some planets may spoil these things. And it depends on whether, see, sometimes if you have to say lie, it is important to say a lie. And not every time saying the truth is good. If you have to save someone by saying a lie, you have to say it, right? And you're not doing any wrong by doing it. That's why it is called as Rita and Anrita. More before the Satya comes, it talks about the Rita. Rita is, we have talked about this in detail in Chitra Nakshatra. Please listen to Chitra Nakshatra. You will know what is Rita, Anrita, Satya, Asatya. Okay, these are subtle differences are there. A lot of people think Rita and Satya are the same, but no, they are not. A little different. Satya is always universal truth, and Rita is trying to modify Satya to make the Loka Kalyana or something good has to happen. Then you may have to modify the Satya. There are little subtle differences there. And please read the chitra that I have taught. Hmm? And then Manasvi Gunavan. Manasvi means someone who has the manas or the character, Gunavan. And then Dara Sukhanvitaha, someone who has the good wife. Okay, now again, it means that if there is affliction here, 10th Lord in the 7th house, there could be a bad wife as well because it's a karmic connection. 10th and the 7th have got connected. Karmic connection has come. Now, due to good karma, you have got a very good wife. Due to bad karma, you got a very bad wife. Okay, both can be possible. However, I would always opine if your seventh lord is free, if the seventh house is free of planets, that's the best thing to have. Always, no matter how much ever good a planet, Jupiter, Moon, all these are, any planet in that place is not a very welcome place. Okay, because seventh house is all about the expectations of the wife. Okay. Then seventh house, 10th lord in the seventh house. The person could be a driver working in a company who's a taxi driver. He could be that. Or he could be he could be doing work at the home and also at the office. There is continuous progress in life. The life is very balanced. Um, or he is doing a business, okay, or he's doing a travel business, he's acting, or he's in a cinema profession, display of talent and display of performance in front of audience, because seventh house deals with all these things. Okay, wife and husband are working together, karma of siblings and wife are connected, because 10th house is father's children. So your sibling, your sister is married to a guy, and that guy's sister you have married. Okay. So there is a karmic connection between you and your sister, right? Even this can be possible with the 10th Lord in the 7th house. Okay. Whether it will be a happy marriage or not, that depends on so many things. Okay. 10th Lord in the 8th house. See, 10th Lord in the 8th house. कर्मेशे रंध्रभावस्ते कर्महीनो भवेन्नरः दीर्घायुर अप्यसो जातः परनिंदा परायणः. Someone who is focused on finding faults. Okay, eighth house is all about randhra anveshana, that means holes, finding holes, that means finding faults. Eighth house. 10th lord is karma. So eighth house is holes. So what is the 10th lord doing in the eighth house? 10th lord is all light, and eighth house is not having any light. So he is trying to find faults of the people. What does this mean is, if there is a guy and he keeps finding faults with people, this is a very rudimentary way of understanding. The other elevated way of understanding is, there is a philosophy or a prophecy, okay, or there is a standard thing that exists in the world. I mean, look back about 200 years ago. People thought that the sun was revolving around the earth. Okay, even the English people thought so, the modern science thought so. As people evolved, okay, they understood that it is not the sun who is revolving around the earth, but it is all the nine planets or the eight planets are revolving around the earth. So, what did the person who came up and said, oh, look, it's not the sun who is revolving. I'm finding fault with your thing. Paraninda. I'm doing a fault, finding a fault with the existing prophecy or the philosophy, right? I'm giving you a new research. I'm putting up all the points. What can beat the previous research? That is the 10th Lord in the 8th house. 8th house is the darkness. 10th house is the light. I'm throwing a light into the darkness, and this is the new light, right? So something is newly found as a research. That is 10th Lord in the 8th house, right? Dirghayur apasyau jataha, right? So this person has good, good health, long life, right? Karmahino, karmahino, see, in generic sense, the person doesn't have much to do, right? So, 10th Lord in the 8th house usually is not a very good combination if you are not connected to the 8th house things. You need to know what the 8th house things are. I have explained these things in the 8th house. Please go to the video where the 8th Lord in different houses are there. Try to read it right from the start to the end. That is an important lecture. If you have a big 8th house or your 10th Lord is in the 8th house or the first Lord is in the 8th house, now your 8th Lord is very much there. If you don't belong to any of these 8th house things, then it means that you're struggling to find a job. Okay. However, let's see what I have written down here while I was just contemplating about what can happen for 10th Lord in the 8th house. 10th Lord in the 8th house could be surgeons, doctors, insurance companies, contractual jobs. Again, as I said, contractual jobs could mean a small guy who's doing a menial job, struggling on salary, or he could be a road contractor who has got crores and crores of business from the government of India or government of the US or wherever, whichever country he's living, and he's a big employer, right? He's not working under anyone. He's his own employer, right? But he has once the contract expires, he either needs to find another contract or another employer where he can give you another job. It's the same thing. Okay. Seasonal jobs, someone who is employed for 5 months and the next, you get to see these marine engineering people who would be on the ship. They would be on the ship for, like 6 months or 7 months, and then they come back and they have a leave of about, I don't know, 6 months or 4 months or whatever. So it's a seasonal job thing for the first for few months across the year. They may not have a job. However, I believe they are paid even in that time while when they are on the ship, they get more of the perks thing. Okay. And eighth house also talks about profit sharing. Eighth house can talk about business and investments. You have got some bank loan or you've raised some investment from your people or your wife gave you some money. Eighth lord is second from the eighth house is second from the seventh house. So the wife could be giving you money, or your parents gave you some money as an inheritance that you have put into your business. Even that can be possible. Or the person is working on profit sharing. He doesn't do much as a work. He's a sleeping partner. So he has a karma hino, right? The word karma hino means nothing much needs to be done. He has put some money and the money is giving him back the money. He doesn't do much. Physically, he doesn't do anything. If he's setting up a factory, what he has done is he's met his friend who's setting up a factory, told, look, these are these million rupees or $1 million. You need like 10 million. I'm giving you 1 million. Give me the profit sharing, right? That's the sleeping partner thing. Unconventional jobs, breaks in jobs. This is one common thing you will get to see in the middle class people, where there is no out of box thinking or the eighth house thinking. And if just the or the eighth house lacks strength, and only one planet is placed there, or even the D10 also says that this is a bad phase, then it means that during that dasha, etc., there will be several jobs that you need to change, because you're either losing jobs or losing interest on the job that you're doing and you're resigning and moving. Or it can be so that you always got a promotion in the job. I mean, you got another job better than the current job and you kept on moving and changed like 20 companies in 20 years. Even that can be possible. So I cannot say that, oh, 10th Lord in the 8th house is a bad combination. I do not say that. Neither I would say 10th Lord in the ninth house is a good combination. You cannot, please don't, stereotype things. It will actually give you nothing. However, you need to know, yes, 10th Lord in the 8th house can be a challenging combination to start with. Okay. 10th Lord in the ninth house is a good combination to start with. However, it can make you a person who's lethargic as well. Okay, not trying much, right? So comfortable positions can make you lethargic. 10th Lord in the 8th house can mean job after the death of someone. Somebody's father died, and usually in India it happens on those compassionate grounds. People get the job of the father, especially in the government sector, right? Now it is slightly fading off, but most of the people even now get, depending on the department and the kind of job it is, they get it if the person is qualified enough. They still do something and then they ultimately get the job. Or 10th Lord in the 8th house is a backdoor entry, paying a bribe to an employer, or somebody who is employed there and getting into, or putting up some fake experience and then getting into the job, etc. Someone who is remembered after the death, or not getting enough credit to what he is working for. Siblings and inheritance issues. Why is it so? Counted from the 8th to the 10th and 10th to the 8th. 8th to 10th is 3 houses, 10th to 8th is 11 houses. Both will represent siblings, one on the elder side, one on the younger side. So you have inheritance issues with your siblings, right? So 10th and the 8th are connected. Karma, right? So 10th Lord in the ninth house. राज्येष्ये भाग्यवे जातो राजा राजकुलोद्भवः, right? तत्समो अन्युकूलत्पन्नो धनपुत्रादि संयुतः. Anyakulotpanno. Someone who is born in the caste of a king, someone who is from the kingly caste. What does it mean? Is there is not much of casteism, or the neither the kings are there. If you belong to a politician family, it is easy to rise in ranks and you will get power, okay, as a politician. Okay, if your father is a politician, you have the 10th Lord in the ninth house, there are good chances of you gaining the power, because ninth house is the fifth from the fifth house and fifth house is the power. So fifth from the fifth house can also give you power. So you can become the a politician because your father is a politician, especially in places like India. That's how it happens, right? Unless your father is a politician, it becomes very difficult for you to be a politician. Right. That's samo anya kulotpanno. Someone who's not from those kingly caste or the princely caste, or this, or the, if your father is not the politician, then you become a king elsewhere, but it is in your thing that you become a king, right? Dhana putra adi samyutaha. Someone who has money and someone who has children. Okay. So what does the 10th house and the ninth will generally mean is, ninth house, as I said, is the guru's house. The person is interested in teaching. And we have talked about in length about the ninth house. Ninth house talks about the rules, the dharma, what has to be done and what not to be done. The person is constantly in dharma sankata. Okay, should I be doing this or not? This also is another problem when you have very good combinations, because see, the world is changing very rapidly, and you could be belonging to 1910, or maybe 400 BC, where people were so truthful, and you're trying to apply it into today's logic, and because of that you're failing, and you'll keep saying, oh, no, 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 this is adharma, I cannot be doing this. Oh, no, 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 this is wrong, that is wrong. And ultimately, the person doesn't do anything. He keeps thinking that, oh, no, no, I cannot do this, this is wrong. I cannot earn money like this. because this is Kali Yuga. As the years pass by, it becomes more and more challenging for people to earn money. But you have to live, you have your wife, you have your kids. So if will you keep beating around the bush saying that no, no, this is adharma or that is adharma? You have to live, right, first. So sometimes these combinations can be dangerous or difficult also. Okay. So SOPs, framing of rules. What is a good thing for a person to do in the 10th Lord and the ninth houses is people are very good at framing rules, but do not like to, do not like to abide by rules. Okay. They are very good at framing rules for others. SOPs, standard operating procedures. They're very good as directors, advisors, teachers, inspirers, higher learning, okay, professors, or an independent profession where they do not have a boss, right? Because see, 10th Lord in the ninth house is the boss. The person sits over the boss. So there is no more boss for him, right? Place change mandatory to kickstart profession that is stuck. If your profession is stuck when you have the 10th Lord in the ninth house, sometimes the profession is not starting for whatever reason in the D10. Look at the D10 chart, you will know whether the profession is starting or not, or what time it is starting. If it is not starting, the best thing is leave the city, try to, go into another city and try to apply jobs there. Why is it so? Because ninth house is in the 12th house from the 10th house, right? Count 12 houses from the 10th house, you get the ninth house. As simple as that. 10th and 12th house is leaving a place. All right. 10th Lord in the 10th Lord, in the 10th house. Karmeshe Ragya Bhavaste Sarva Karma Sampannaha Sukhi. Vikrami Satyavaktacha Guru Bhakti Rato Naraha. Right? So 10th Lord in the 10th house could be a big karmic connection in case of siblings. We will come to it. Let me just first complete this one. Guru Bhakti Rato Naraha, someone who respects the Guru, the mentor, the boss, etc. Afflictions there, he will find difficulties with the boss, right? Vikrami Satya Vaktacha, okay, someone who is courageous and keeps talking the truth, right? Again, as I keep saying, you have to listen to the whole lecture, then you will get the whole gist of it. A lot of people are trying to read only their part and jumping over. Okay. This is very detrimental for you. It doesn't work like that because not every time I can repeat the whole stuff. Please at least read one lecture completely. Sarva karma sampannaha, someone who has a very, whose job is always complete, right? Whatever he starts, he completes that job. Sarva karma sampannaha, right? Sukhi, he is a he's enjoying comforts. Look for afflictions here. The negative of all these will come. Okay. Sarva karma sampannaha, the negative of this, Sukhi, the Vikrami, the Satyavakta, all these, you can get the negatives of it when there are afflictions. Afflictions can be from the natural malefics and also by the lordships. Don't depend on the results or don't make conclusions from here. Always look at the divisional charts. Okay. 10th Lord in the 10th house, it's a very stable job, exactly opposite of what the fourth house is, because the person is not emotionally connected, right? He is doing it like the karma. I am deployed to be done. I'm deployed to be doing this. That's why let me do this. Okay, that's it. I'm neither connected, I'm not emotional, I'm not overthinking. Let me do what is given to me. That's it. It's a very good combination that way. It's an independent profession. Always look for the nakshatras everywhere, but if it's the 10th Lord in the 10th house, always look at the nakshatra and look at the video that I have done on the nakshatra. All the 27 nakshatras, there are about 2 hour videos. They are the most informative from my teaching. Always get back to the nakshatra so that you understand all the results from it, and then finally come here so that you know, acha, this is what is happening, right? Karma connected to the siblings, as I said, because it's the father's family, the 10th house, sitting again in the 10th house. So there is a lot of karma connected to siblings. It can be good or it can be bad. It's a karmic connection. You cannot get rid of it. You cannot escape it. If it's bad, oh no, if it's bad, let me run away from it. You cannot. If it is good, you cannot even run away from it. You have to enjoy the good and you also have to enjoy the bad that comes out of it. Working for fame, not for money. Hard work in the job. 10th house is a hard job. 10th house is a hard house. So the person has to do a lot of hard work. Okay. It doesn't really mean that the person is, employed as a construction worker. Hard job doesn't mean that. He could still be a software engineer, but he is doing it, he's doing a lot of hard work there. Okay. 10th Lord in the 11th house. राज्येशे लाभभावस्ते जातो धनसुतान्वितः हर्षवान् गुणवांश्चापि सत्यव्रतः सदा सुखी. Always he is happy. Satyavratah, trying to talk all the truth. Okay. Gunavanschapi, someone who has a very good character. Harshavan, again the same thing, the Harshavan, when that came as 10th Lord in the 5th house and 10th Lord in the 11th house. Harshavan, who is very joyful while at work. He takes work very as a joy. And we see somebody is working very happily. Okay. This is not a bad thing to have. Okay. So it could be good also. Dhana Suta Anvitaha, someone who has money and children both. This is what is all about the 10th Lord and the 11th house. You can also see what you can expect as a general results. 10th Lord in the 11th house, the person is struggling a lot, suddenly gets a promotion and he gets big elevation once for all, one big leap, and he gets elevated very easily. Teaching, or he is in sales or sales support kind of jobs. Okay. See, as I say, 10th Lord in the 11th house, afflicted. Okay. He is very good for marketing job. Is very good at conveying what has to be conveyed to a customer and what not to be conveyed to a customer, although he knows the both sides of it. Okay. So he is a very good winner of the sales and the support. You could be like, the after sales people or the sales people who are talking very, very neatly to the customer, etc. And as the time progresses, this will evolve into a very good profession. 11th house is all about winning. Okay, winning something. 5th house and 11th house are about winning. So the person is winning in most of his endeavors. Is egoistic due to success. If he becomes egoistic due to success, then that's a problem. His ego has to be curtailed, it has to be put down. Not giving credit to partners in the job. Okay. You have to get rid of these things. Family business could be there. Helping siblings financially or seeking financial help from the siblings or the father. These are the other significations that you can see. Okay. 12th house, 10th Lord in the 12th house. राज्येशे व्ययभावस्ते तस्य राज्याग्रहे व्ययः शत्रुतोपि भयं नित्यं चतुरश्चापि चिन्तितः. The person is extremely cleverful. He's very, very wise. He's very clever. But he keeps worrying, right? Shatrutopi bhayam nityam. 10th Lord in the 6th house or 12th house, there is too much of competition in whatever the person is doing. Either if he is looking for a promotion at the office, there are too many contenders from the same chair. If he is in a business, then the person has too much of competition and it is becoming extremely difficult for him to win an order. Okay, because the competition is too much. Raja grahe vyayaha. Okay, this word Raja Grahe, it shouldn't be like Raja Gruhe, Raja Grahe. Agraha means there are a couple of meanings in it. One is due to the politicians, the person is spending money. It can be like a punishment coming from a tax department and the person is paying money for it. Or there is a politician with whom he is constantly working and he betrayed him at the end, and due to which there are expenses due to it. Or the person wants to become a politician and he's spending a lot of money in social service, and that's why he is becoming poorer and poorer and he's not able to understand that, right? And Chaturas Chapi Chintitaha, he is extremely clever, but he is constantly worried. Okay. Let's see what the 12th house general significations come in 10th lord in the 12th house. Losses in business, at least initially, because it takes a little time and to build the investment, because 10th lord in the 12th house, there is not enough resources for the person. 10th lord in 6th house or 12th house, these are not very conducive to have resources for the 10th lord, right? And then karma or losses connected to siblings. Why? Because count three houses from the 10th house, you get 12th house, and then count 11 houses from the 12th house, you get the 10th house, right? So karma is connected to siblings. So most likely there are losses due to siblings. Although there are not losses, he keeps feeling that because of this, because of my sibling, I am actually losing money. Okay, etc., etc. And they cannot escape it. They have to bear that loss, or they have to do that thing. Or it could be a gain as well. That the sibling has bailed him out of a problem, bro, right? So it could be both the ways. Traveling in work. Okay. See, usually what happens is 10th lord of the 12th house. A person lives in Hyderabad. He travels to Delhi every week on the Monday morning and then comes back on Friday evening, right? Unnecessary tensions in work. No one can solve the problems of this person. He's living in isolation. 12th house is isolation while doing the job. He could be a doctor. See, 12th house is a hospital. 12th house is a jail, or any 12th house thing is far away from the place, from the general city where the public are living. So it could be a hospital or a jail, and he's an employee there. No one listens to this person, although he's a very intelligent person. People don't understand that this man is intelligent, and he's a very wise person due to the experience. Although he is a young man, he must have got a lot of bad experiences for the 10th lord in the 12th house. It gives you a lot of challenges in life. The person fails multiple times, and that is why he knows these are all the problematic things. But despite that, no one listens to him, and there are challenges always, right? Not enough resources in business. People promise, false promises are there, that look, I will give you the revenue, I will give you the resource, I'll give you money to set up something, but it doesn't come in time. These people are very impractical. Okay, they don't understand the practicality of the world. They are a lot impractical. They have a very good wisdom over a period of time. These are all the significations of the 10th lord in the 12 houses. Anybody has any questions, any feedback, please let me know.
हेलो सर।
Yes, madam.
सर अगर ट्वेल्थ लॉर्ड टेंथ और ट्वेल्थ लॉर्ड का आपस में एक्सचेंज हो जाए तो क्या वो स्टेबल जॉब देगा या फिर मतलब अनस्टेबिलिटी देगा?
किस किस का मैडम? 10th और
ट्वेल्थ, टेंथ लॉर्ड एंड ट्वेल्थ लॉर्ड।
10th Lord and 12th Lord. Please, 10th Lord and 12th Lord exchange. Please read these thing. Okay. First is read this thing. Read here. Also wait for 12th Lord in the 10th house, because still we have not come through that. So it will come. Second most important thing is read the nakshatras of the 10th and the 12th Lords. Okay. Then you will know. Try to push the person in. If he's a young person, try to push him into the fields of this kind, where the doctor, pharmacy, all that stuff can be there. Clear? Understood? समझ में आया मैडम? आप म्यूट हो.
सर मैं पूछ रही हूँ अगर वो बिजनेस में है तो क्या करें फिर?
Business में है तो initially, if he is in business, there are initially losses, and then he has to wait.
ओके ओके सर।
Is there any problem with the investment? I mean, not enough money is coming, not enough resources are there. Bank loan he has applied, but the bank loan is not coming. Such problems are there.
नो नो सर, इन्वेस्टमेंट की प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, बस वो प्रोफेशन में सेट नहीं हो पा रहे।
Okay. And has he faced losses?
यस सर।
Okay, then one has to wait. Also look at the D10, what the D10 is saying. And look at the nakshatras if they can do any remedy around it. Try to do that remedy.
ओके सर, टेंथ में भरनी का कस्प है और अश्वनी मेन आ रहा है, भरनी और अश्वनी का इम्पैक्ट आ रहा है।
So look at Ashwini, right? Ashwini is promise of the job or promise of the business by someone, and then ultimately he was betrayed for the first time. Then the business will come.
ओके ओके ओके। ओके सर, थैंक यू।
Yeah. Look at the whole chart. Also look at D10. Look at the dashas in the D10. I've done at least 3 4 videos on D10. Try to understand, or maybe I don't know. I don't remember the number of videos. Try to understand it from the D10 also.
ओके ओके सर।
Hmm.
Sir, can the 10th Lord in the third house give a career in performance, acting, of things of that nature?
Possible, yes. It's a contractual job, right? So the person is doing
Okay,
contracts. So he could be a movie actor. He takes money from one fellow for a movie and then moves to another director and a producer for another movie.
got it. Thanks.
Yeah.
So,
Or
another
he
probably
could be a screenplay writer, or he could be a story writer. Third house.
got it, got it.
Yeah. You're asking
And
something.
even things like I think you already mentioned like sports, so it makes sense. Okay, yeah. I was asking like the 10th Lord in the sixth house. Some of the indications in the notes that you gave there are as you said, it can go both in a positive or negative way. But I was just wondering because both of these 10th and sixth houses are ardha trikonas, right? Like it should be good for money. Is that a reasonable understanding, or it doesn't work that way?
See, sixth house is troubles, right? See, what does sixth house give you? Sixth house is the Ripu Bhava. Ripu means enemies, right? So if you have to be successful, you have to keep your knife sharp. You have to cut through those enemies and then only you can move forward. That's why the person gets a lot of resistance in the job. If he's in a job, there is the resistance, a lot of resistance, a lot of competition. Unless the person is extremely capable, 10th lord in the sixth house, and if the first lord or the fifth lord, ninth lord, all of these are badly placed and not enough strength is there, then he will only have challenges in the job. It's not easy for him to sail through the job. Are you there?
Yes, yes, yeah, yeah. I was just following what you were saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So 10th lord in the sixth house, and if the first lord is not very greatly placed, and if the fifth lord doesn't have enough strength, there is no enough tact of the person. Intellect of the person is missing. First house, fifth house, and ninth house will give you the intellect to fight through these things. Right? It's not a physical fight, right? Because you are in an office and there are contenders for the job, so you have to excel well. You need that thing, right? You need your intellect.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah. So 10th lord in the sixth house, the intellect is excellent. Then you move forward in life very easily because you will get challenges every time and you will prove that, look, I have the talent and that's why I have I have solved a big problem. See, I'll give you an example. Classic example is, let us suppose you are capable of solving 100 problems in an office. And in the office, you are getting zero problems. No problems are coming. And someone is ready to, go daily, the boss, and keeps, boasting, keeps talking, keeps, what is that? Keeps the boss in good books. He would be promoted. But if you are in an office and you know how to solve 100 problems, and every day you get one problem, and in 100 days, the boss will know that you are more capable than the fellow who is, oiling him up every day. Get that?
Yes, yes, yeah,
So sixth house will give you those challenges.
got it.
हेलो सर।
Yes.
10th लॉर्ड थर्ड हाउस में श्लोक में लिखा है सत्य वक्ता, तो इसका रीजन क्या है जबकि वो अपने से सिक्स गया है षड्रिपु के भाव में।
क्या बोलते हैं आप? 10th
10th
लॉर्ड इन
लॉर्ड
द थर्ड हाउस, सत्य रतो.
यस यस, तो ये इसका रीजन क्या है सर?
Because the third house also deals with the truth and the things like that.
ओके ओके सर।
10th lord in the third house will be, in one side, if you see, it will be the sixth, eighth combination that talks about the Satya. It's a truth and lie
ओके
thing
सर।
there. That's why I'm saying don't think don't get carried away with that.
ओके
It can
ओके
be
सर।
truth and lie.
So, can you expand a little on why 6-8 refers to truth and lie, the
Listen
interchange?
to Chitra video. That's why I said
Okay,
Chitra I've explained.
got it.
Hmm. See, Chitra is in the sixth house. Chitra is the Chitragupta. Okay, what is he doing? He's counting all that karma wherever you are saying the lies and wherever you are saying all the truth. Okay, very simple to say. If I have to say it in one sentence.
Got it, sir. Thank you.
And moreover, lies comes from the buddhi, right? If you vakra buddhi is there, then that means if the buddhi is not good, you tend to talk lies. That's ruled by the sixth house. Although as a planet, Saturn is the karaka for the lies. As a house, the sixth house is the karaka for the lies, and especially Chitra is the karaka for lies. You can also attribute it to the Mula, also to Revati or Uttarabhadra little. These are all those. Also, to some extent, you can also connect it to Rohini. Because lies are different kinds of lies, depending on the kind of lie you're talking. Will it be a Chitra lie, or will it be a Rohini lie, or will it be a Mula lie, or will it be a Uttarabhadra lie? It will change. That's so deep. I would recommend not go so straight away into such things. You will confuse yourself. As you evolve slowly, you will get to know nobody needs to teach you that. You will automatically know. There is no way, because the yoga maya will release all its pressure from you. You will know automatically. Everything will be very crystal clear. And the moment you try to see a horoscope or a chart, it will keep knocking your brain saying that this is the problem. Finish the consultation in 5 minutes. But you have to actually prepare the person. So it will take like 15, 20 minutes. Just you keep talking to the fellow, and you try to pacify him and tell him, look, this is what this is what can happen, and that is what can happen, and that's why I'm giving you this remedy. Or to make it logically appealing to the fellow, you try to talk to him in more open manner, or try to explain why you came to that conclusion. Otherwise, you will evolve in such a way that when you use all these nakshatras, you will come to a point where you don't need many things. Just look at the D1 chart and then try to understand what the dasha is moving and what could be the problem based on the kind of Let's suppose you take my case, you try to send me out three life events of you, and then try to frame a question for me. In the question itself, you have the answer, looking at the dasha that you're running, and based on that, the prediction will automatically come in less than 4 or 5 minutes. It's very unusual for but I would rather be very circumspect. I wouldn't deliver the result right away, because I want to confirm whether it is correct or not, and then give you the right thing. But otherwise, it's straight away right there. Okay, the moment you get the chart. Sorry, I went on and on. Anybody has more questions? Look, you have to ask questions. Otherwise, I would assume you have learned everything.
So a general question, not exactly related to
Go
this
ahead.
class. Like,
Go ahead.
yeah.
Anything.
So 4, 8, 12 houses, they are like the Moksha Trikona houses. And I was listening to one of your older videos on Navamsha and how to interpret 4, 8, 12. They can all indicate happiness in marriage, or also like how is 4 going along with 8 and 12? Like I can understand 8 and 12 going together, but what is the connection of fourth house to moksha?
Hmm. See, where is the karma?
10th.
Karma is mostly in the sixth house. Okay,
Okay.
because sixth house is the practice. Every day you do something. Your routine is your karma, right?
Right.
So 11th house from it. 11th
Okay.
house from your sixth house
Got it. Got it.
is the fourth house. Okay, so you are. What is moksha? Moksha means not having the necessity to do karma. Correct?
Yes.
Or the mukti. Moksha or mukti means you don't have to come back into this world again. That is the highest meaning that is possible for moksha. The lower possibilities are you do not need to work because your father gave you a lot of money, which is in the fourth house.
Hmm. Got it.
Okay. The higher magnitude of it is you are refraining yourself from doing any karma. That means you're not coming back into this world again. That is why it is the fourth house, the moksha.
Got it, sir.
Sir,
Mm.
um, can I put my understanding? I don't know if it is right. It is just a general thing about 4, 8, 12, which I just felt.
Mm.
Can we think that 4 is the mind, 8 is the body or out of the body or death, and 12th is the ultimate goal?
Yeah, correct.
Okay,
Correct.
okay,
Fourth is the
thank
mind,
you.
eighth is the death, 12th is the emancipation or final salvation. That's right.
Right, sir. Thank you.
But didn't any of you get the results from any of these combinations? Nobody is willing to give me a feedback. I'm a little surprised today. Nobody gave me a feedback. Only people ask questions.
I joined late, so I couldn't really tell, but maybe next class I can share any feedback.
Okay, good.
But I have a question.
Okay.
Uh, Sir, I'm wondering about what is the difference between, like, when you say karma houses, you can say 6th and 10th, right?
Yes.
So, what is the difference between karma from these two?
So sixth is a routine thing that you keep doing every day. 10th is the final karma. One line, one purpose of life is in the 10th house. that you do every day to reach that 10th house is the 6th house. So 6th house holds most of your actions, and 10th house holds the final action that will get you into the fulfillment of your desire. The next house is fulfillment of your desire. So 10th house is the final karma, the sole purpose of your life. 6th house is the way you reach it.
Okay.
Let us suppose, you are like, let us suppose you are a 25-year or a 30-year-old Indian man or a woman. Your final thing will be what? You have to look after your wife or husband, have kids, take care of your mother, and take care of your whole family as a thing. I'm trying to solve it or keep it at a very lower level so that you understand it well. That's in the 10th house. To do that, you have got secured a job. You're doing something day in and day out. You're facing a lot of challenges in the 6th house. Why? Because your final goal is your 10th house of feeding your family and seeing your kids getting married and looking after your parents and all that is in the 10th house. You get that?
Okay. So 6 is kind of the means to an end, and 10 is the
Yes.
end.
6th is the daily practice that you do to reach your 10th house. That is why your daily routine will depend on your 6th house. That is where the Shadripus are. Everybody knows that you have to do a clean karma.
Mhm.
Everybody knows it. Nobody is, unaware. Even if you ask a thief, is it good to be stealing? He'll say, no, it is not good to be stealing anything. One has to live a very good plain life. But he is forced to steal because in the 6th house, the problem with him is his routine is to steal. Unless otherwise he does it, he can't survive. Right? The
Mhm.
routine defines how many problems are you
So if we
facing.
want, Mhm.
Shruti.
So based on this definition, it seems like 10th cannot be just considered as a career house. Or
Absolutely.
if you want to
6th
say
house
just
is the
specific,
career house. Actually, all 12 houses will give you career. 10th house alone will
right?
not give you a career. Okay. I will come to your. You have to ask the question in the mic. Please don't send any questions over the messages. One second. Let me answer the question of this lady. See, 6th house can give you career. 5th house can give you career. First house can give you career. All 12 houses will give you career. Don't think only 10th house will give you career. Very rudimentary thing is 10th house will give you career. Why? Look back 300 years before. Till that time, what your father was doing, that becomes your career. That is why 10th house. Second from the ninth house. Ninth house is your father. Second from it is how your father was earning. Right? That's why your 10th house became your career. Otherwise, it is your 6th house generally defines your career. In the D10, we look at the 6th house to understand the routine of yourself. What are you doing in your routine, daily routine? That becomes your job, right? Again, this is very, very rudimentary thing. The third house can give you a job. Third house is a writer. The person is using his writing skills. First Lord in the third house. The person is an excellent writer. Maybe he has tried a few things at the very start of the career. That depends on the 10th house. So, how your 10th house is, that will show the start of your career. But later on, people will evolve into a way where whichever house is strong for them and go into that particular profession. If you're a writer, it's a third house. So the person became a movie screenplay writer later on. You get that? Shruti, you get that or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So you
Hmm.
said something here that, yeah, I understood that in the olden days, the father passed on the profession, so gain of father's profession is 10th, but
Yeah.
that's no longer relevant. So we are now moving towards whatever is your strongest house ends up being your profession
Yes.
in
Most
the
times.
long run.
Most times,
But
Lagna
in the
also gives you
initial state,
profession. Most times, Lagna also gives you profession. Go ahead.
Right. The initial stages of your career can be seen from 10th house. Is that what you were saying?
Most times, again, it's a general rule, but best thing to look at career is open the dasha, simple Vimshottari dasha, open the D10 chart, keep the D1 chart also alongside, look at the lagna of the D1 chart, place that lagna in the D10 chart and try to understand the kind of profession he will have from the 10th house only. Okay. Take the lagna of the D10
Okay.
chart, make it as a Rashi Tulya Dashamsha, and then you can find a few clues about how the initial profession can be. Based on the dasha that is running, how is his current profession? What is he linked to in the profession right now? You will know. But if you are looking at modern day jobs, who are almost all 90% of Indians are working on software. So you need to know all the software names and you need to know what signifies that software as a planet and as a house or a Rashi. Okay. For example, if you're working
Mhm.
on data analytics or analysis of data, or you're working on MIS reporting, etc., then your Sagittarius is what you're getting your money from or your career from. So your Dasha Lord has something to do with the Sagittarius.
Mhm.
That way you have to find out. Otherwise, if you just keep looking at the 10th Lord here, it will not work 90% of the times. If it works, it's just by a fluke. So dasha is extremely important in case of job, because see, career is something you start at like 22, 23 years old. If you're a typical Indian, or like you're 20 years old, you'll start your career. You will work till 60, 65, right? So it's a 45-year-old thing which spans for a lot of time. So dasha becomes extremely important here, right?
Right.
Yeah. Wait for these things, they will come. Okay. If I think I covered a few of the things in the Telugu classes. They know these things, but I'm not very sure if I gave some of these things in the English classes. So if they're not covered, I will cover them soon. But for sure, I did at
Okay.
least a couple of classes of the D10. Please have a look on, please have a look. Then you will know the basics of the D10.
Awesome.
Okay. Next, you had some question, Ligia. What's your name? Sorry, Ligia, right? There? Sumedha Dayas. You typed something. Please come up and in the mic and ask the question. I'm not reading comments here. Is there anyone else want to ask a question? No one? Okay, if there is no one, let's break. Let's meet the next week. I think it's Christmas time. Most people must be enjoying holidays. So we will meet the next week on 27, right? 28 rather. Yeah, 28. And then we will be left with one more class after that on the 12th house. In the new year we do that on the next up the next year. And thereafter we will talk about some retrogression of the planets. We've never covered that. I'll talk a very brief lecture will be there on retrogression. And then followed by conjunctions of planets. That will end the first phase of the free course. Let me see if we have to continue it the same way as the free course, or maybe we have to monetize the next level of the course. I'm still not very sure and clear. Let's see how it shapes up. It not for the money. It's not for the money, or collecting money from your people, etc. But I'm, after getting a few comments from people saying I'm overemphasizing on a few things because it's on the public platform, right? People are free to comment on anything. So I don't want to read those unnecessary comments and make myself uncomfortable, to be very honest with you. That's why I'm trying to think of at least maybe put a very nominal fees from later on, and then monetize these videos into membership videos, so that you pay like very small meager amount and then look at those videos, just to avoid, because there are a lot of people around you trying to always fool around and try to portray themselves up as big guys and trying to you understand what I'm saying. I think a few people tried to tell me this little while ago, but I did not heed to them and I kept on saying, but I still will complete the free course. That may take another 3-4 months from now for the content that I have, and then maybe I'll think of that. But within the free course itself, there is so much to learn, so much to come back, and so much to learn from all these videos. And you have to keep reading these. What happens is when you read these classes, something strikes up, then you go back and read the other nakshatra classes once again, then a lot of things will be clearer to you. Okay. So keep watching and keep learning. Thank you so much. You guys have been very patiently listening to me. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.